Hey, so we're back for round one with a extremely borderline hand on the draw. I'm I'm really not sure what to do with this hand. My inclination is to keep it. I have 16 blue sources in my deck. I have two copies of Terminate that I can draw that would be fine, and three copies of Lightning Bolts. And so that's it's like 22-ish cards that would all be okay and would buy me time to draw a blue source, after which my hand is very good. So I mean, yeah, I think this is like another hand that I think I would mulligan if I absolutely had to win this match. But given that I don't, I kind of think I want to just see like how badly this game can go for me, such that I can still win it. Because this lightning bolt probably buys me some time. Just because like the fact that the lands are like pretty good in this deck, like even these non-blue lands, it's just gonna like make it easier to cast these like 3-drops. So my opponent's not doing anything, which is good for my hands, and I brick twice, which is bad for me. But yeah, I don't know what my opponent's playing. I would guess it was junk from the Stirring Wildwood, and now I think maybe it's like a Hate Bears type deck or something. I mean, I feel like most decks would have done something by now. Alright, so this is good. I'm just gonna play this untapped and hold up Mana Leak. I usually you want to play Thought Scour before playing Serum Visions, just because the card is random and there's nothing specific that I really want right now. So yeah, so I kind of want to wait until I'm actually sure what my opponent's doing and what his plan is before I commit with my scries. So it looks like my opponent is drunk and just kept a very slow hand. And so that's the kind of thing that's good to know, right? Like I brick twice, my draw didn't work out optimally, but I'm still playing against a real deck, and my opponent had a hand such that I wasn't really punished for my keep. Like if I'd been playing against a burn or something, that would have been just appalling for me. I think I'm just gonna play Delver with the Watery Grave. I'll fetch an island if my opponent does something that matters, and otherwise it'll just be fine. There's nothing really I'm worried about, so I'm not like super concerned about playing Servants. And my opponent pathing here is pretty strange. Like I knew, like it was pretty clear that was like most of what was my opponent's hand, like just like removal spells, nonsense like that. But him using a path there first means he doesn't have Abrupt Decay, which is I think one of the cards that he's most likely to have. Though it could also mean he's saving Abrupt Decay because he's like worried I might counter it. Which, I mean, he's worried I might. He wants to save it for a spot where the uncounterability matters. And now he's playing Scavenging Ooze. Like, okay, that's fine, right? It doesn't live through Lightning Bolt. So I'm gonna bolt this and see what happens. So it looks like my opponent's playing really aggressively around Mana Leak, which I guess is good for me. I mean, even though I have Mana Leak, he's gonna have to like play like a Seed Run eventually. It's never going to be actually just straight dead. And like the fact that and like it's probably gonna be like good in like later games because I only have 2 Mana Leaks in my deck, and I'm probably gonna board one out. So I'm just gonna get a Steam Vents here. I want to, like, basically I want to just preserve my last basic so I can still get it, so I can still just punish him for being a Path to Exile deck. And I want a blue source. And obviously I want to fetch to sort of clear up my Serum Visions. Alright, so this is good. I think I'm just going to cast this for mana. Like, I'm still not in any kind of rush to do anything. and I don't need to have more than Mana Leak up. So yeah, so I'm just gonna cast this for life. I mean, this is a bit greedy because the mana is relatively unlikely to matter much. Right, so he's just got a million Siege Rhinos, and he does have the Abrupt Decay, which is a little surprising. So yeah, so Decay, Rhino, Urborg, and so yeah, he's technically one land off from playing Rhino through Leak, but like again, like it's like a full land. Like he has to draw another land and then wait another turn. Yeah, so Gurmag Angler is great. I don't think I want another land. So yeah, so this is kind of my decision my decision to pay mana coming back to bite me. But it's fine. It's like, yeah, it's kind of just fine. Alright, so now Inquisition is fine. Yeah, so so now his hand, yeah, so he's still one land, he's still like an untapped land away from casting Rhino through Leak, and he's afraid of my Delver, which is surprising. I think that's the card in my hand that I care about least. So even if he draws a land and he tries to play a Rhino, then I can like still just double Leak it. And he needs to draw a land for that to happen. So I'm gonna leave Lightning Bolt in my graveyard. It's obviously like the least replaceable resource I have. I just have millions of cantrips. And I want to leave up double Leak because he's shown that he has, because I know he has 2 Siege Rhinos, and I'd like to at least get some value out of these Leaks. And yeah, so like if he hasn't drawn a land this turn, like what is he gonna do? Now he's just gonna play Siege Rhino into Mana Leak. I guess this makes sense because he knows that I have 2, so I'm going to be able to Leak one of his Siege Rhinos regardless, and now he can maybe play in a way such that this second Leak is dead. But yeah, I'm not that worried about all that. Alright, so yeah, so I'm not cycling the Electrolyze because yeah, this is a deck with Lingering Souls, and obviously Lingering Souls is really problematic for this deck, so I want to save my resources for answering it. Young Pyromancer is okay. It's probably good enough to draw. He has an Abrupt Decay in his hand, so the Delver's not flipping. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna keep Young Pyromancer, not play the second Serum Visions, and just play this Delver into his Abrupt Decay. Yeah, because I don't care about this Delver. It's going to protect my Young Pyromancer, and the Pyromancer is probably going to be pretty good. It's going to eventually give me some insurance against Liliana. And yeah, so like he still needs to draw an untapped land. He did draw an untapped land, which I guess is a little bit unfortunate. But definitely not the end of the world. Yep, Siege Rhino. Yeah, so I'm gonna fetch for my second Steam Vents before playing Serum Visions. Just because I want to basically I just want to preserve my Scry. This was terrible sequencing, by the way. I should have fetched first and then played Serum Visions. So, and then I should have fetched first, then played the Pyromancer, and then played Serum Visions. But it's whatever. Yeah, so I don't want lands, so I'm glad that those are probably going to be on the bottom of my library for most of this game. And I don't want to pay 2 life to probe here. And I'm not going to attack. He's obviously at... The Siege Rhino obviously puts him at a way high life total, and... Yeah, that's just... Yeah, I can't really effectively win this race. So yeah, it's pretty annoying. It's one argument for more aggressively cycling my cards. But unless he actually just straight up has Lingering Souls here, I'm not worried. Right, yeah, so... Alright, that's a reasonable draw. Might be enough that I'm willing to attack with the Angler now. So he's got nothing in hand. Yeah, so I think that's actually definitely enough that I'm going to attack with the Angler. If he blocks, I'll just bolt Snapcaster Bolt. And otherwise, on his turn, I can just block with the Elemental tokens and do something good with Snapcaster. Like, if he just attacks with the Siege Rhino, then I will... if he just attacks with the Siege Rhino, then I'll just snap Electrolyze it and block with 3 tokens. So it looks like he's gonna block here, which, alright, it's gonna get pretty destroyed. Yeah, I mean, like, would I really make this attack if I didn't have something to just totally blow you out here? That would have been the most greedy block. Yeah. So is he gonna? If he's not gonna block, he's gonna attack. All right. So now I get to figure out how greedy I want to be, and I think the answer is probably like fairly greedy. Like if he does blow me out here, it's like he just kills my tokens, which is not great for me, but not horrible. I'll lose a couple life, and yeah, alright, and he gives up. It's not surprising. Alright, so yeah, so I don't know, I think my opponent played that game in a way that was not optimal. Yeah, just as a commentary for like educational purposes, like he should have just played into Leak. Like it's not that likely that I have it, and also it's not, or I mean, I guess the average build of this deck plays way more 2-mana counterspells, so it's maybe fine, but like when you're playing like 4-mana cards and it's just like it's so hard to meaningfully kill mana leak, you just lose way more games by trying to be clever than just by like accepting that the mana leak is just going to trade for your card. Like just play a spell you just don't care as much about, and I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't super agree with how my opponent played that game. Yeah, so in this matchup I went Batterskull. Kolagon's Command is at Sadacaster. I'm okay cutting all of the Jataxian Probe just because my opponent has Path to Exile, so I want to just reduce my effective land count. I think Delver's pretty good. I don't want to draw millions of them. I can see... Past that, I can see cutting Lightning Bolt. I think shaving a Lightning Bolt's okay. It's good for killing Scavenging Ooze, and like sometimes Tarmogoyf, but like he doesn't have Dark Confidant or anything. He has fewer targets than usual. I think Electrolyze is fine. It's good for... Electrolyze is obviously great. It kills Lingering Souls and Liliana. Kolagon's Command is the same boat. Yeah, I spent so much time talking about how my opponent played that now I don't have enough time to sideboard. I think 3 2-mana counterspells is likely fine just because he has Siege Rhinos. I don't think I want more than 2 Thoughtseizes because it is a grindy matchup. I like almost all of the cards that I have in my deck currently. Deprive is kind of miserable, and I kind of want maybe to have a negate instead of a mana leak, just so it doesn't go dead. I think I'm going to make that change. I think drawing multiple mana leaks, the first mana leak is probably pretty good, but I think the second mana leak can be sketchy, and it counters still counters Liliana, but at least gets his removal spells later on in the game. Yeah. So I usually feel pretty good at this matchup. The main way you lose is they just have Lingering Souls that you can't race or interact with them. Like they just kill all of your creatures and then play Lingering Souls, and you can't kill the Lingering Souls. Like, so, like, yeah. But other than that, like, the fact that you play blue cards and they're playing, like, green cards, I think works in your advantage for, I think, maybe the first time since Modern's inception. Yeah, so this is an interesting hand. I might fetch Blood Crypt here. I think I'm going to start by fetching... I think I'm going to start by fetching an island. Like, I don't think I'm going to shock twice with this hand. And the fact that I have Thoughtseize makes me want to be a bit cautious with my life total. Like, ideally, I'll draw, like, a Darkslick Shores, and then I just won't have to worry about it. And I won't have to shock at all again. Which would just be the absolute dream. But I think I just want to be a bit conservative with my life total to just keep my options open later. Like, even though, like, theoretically this means that my mana might eventually be a bit awkward. Like, cause like next turn I probably want to play 2 blue spells. Like, I'm gonna have to draw another land at some point. It's probably going to be of an appropriate color, and for the time being, just this, like, this situation. Yeah, so yeah, this situation makes me want to just be a bit conservative. I do think I want a 3rd land here, so I'm just gonna draw it. I think at points in my life I would have just been greedy there and just attacked. I would have thought scoured it, and, like, under the assumption that I'll draw another land, but this deck only has 18 lands in it, so, and only has 19 lands in it, so that's probably a little bit greedy. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna play a second Delver. It's gonna be miserable. No, I'm actually going to the fetch for a swamp here and Thoughtseize him. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, if he has Zealous Persecution, then he has Zealous Persecution, but I can play around it, and I kind of want to Thoughtseize him this turn anyway. It does mean I'm not going to be able to fetch, or it means I'm kind of locked into fetching a Steam Vents with this last Blitzenmeyer. Wow, you just didn't play Tarmogoyf? Oh, I guess he doesn't want to get it lightning bolted? Alright, I guess that's okay. So now the question is what I want to take here. I think the card I'm actually most afraid of is Lilion of the Veil. I mean, Tarmogoyf's going to be pretty large, but he's got all these 2-mana creatures. Like, they're all going to be pretty good, and I'm going to have to deal with all of them in the end. Why didn't he play Scavenging Ooze at least? Just doing nothing? He thought doing nothing was better than playing a creature into Lightning Bolt when he has 3 of them? Okay, I mean, I guess I could have, like, I could even have just Spell Snare now, but yeah, yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to take Liliana. Souls, Ooze, Goyf. Yeah, so now I know my opponent is just, like, extremely conservative. Extremely conservative. So maybe I can use that information later. It'd be kind of cool if I could. Like, if I have, like, some sweet spot to bluff him, I can just take that bluff, because my opponent seems like my opponent just willing to just play around everything in the dark. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. So my primary priority at this point is probably just to find an answer for Tarmogoyf. Next turn I'm just going to pass with the Prive Up, and I'll Thought Scour at the end of his turn if that doesn't work out. Yeah, so fetching the Swamp's a bit awkward here, because it means I can't cast 3 blue spells, but that's okay. Wow, that's gross. No, okay, so that's good enough that I'm now interested. That's thought scaring that away is good enough that I'm now willing to try to I'm now willing to just either play Serum Visions, but now just get a Steam Vent and play the Young Pyromancer. So his Tarmogoyfs are very large, but and me milling my Batterskull is awful because it's one of my best cards, but I think it's okay. If he doesn't have an answer for my Young Pyromancer, basically the Young Pyromancer is just going to keep me in the game by itself. And if he does, whatever, I guess we'll just keep playing. He's unlikely to be able to both play Tarmogoyf and answer my Young Pyromancer. So I still just need to find a Terminate or a Murderous Cut. Yeah. A little unfortunate I milled my Batterskull, but I have a couple other artifacts I could have milled. I could have milled Explosives, and that would have been equally bad. So, yeah, she's got Scavenge Ooze, Tarmogoyf. Fetching to 12 pre-combat is quite aggressive. Right, gonna take 5 here, go to 8s. So I assume he's gonna play Tarmogoyf and Ooze here. I guess he has the Lingering Souls, but that seems still seems really aggressive. Oh, multiple Tarmogoyfs? Okay. Alright, so yeah, this is kind of why Deprive sucks, but I think it's fine. I think so. Yeah, so I'm going to have to play a lot of spells to make it so my opponent doesn't just win the game on his turn. So milling creatures that he gets back with Scavenge Ooze is rough, but yeah, I think my opponent basically just primarily has to draw land for my opponent primarily has to just draw land for so he can play Lingering Souls and flash it back. Yes, I'm gonna bottom both of these because I know he has Scavenging Ooze, and yeah, Angler is a great draw. So I'm just gonna exile basically everything, every spell and every non-land card in my graveyard. Right? He has Scavenging Ooze, so it's like not really worth preserving. Oh, can I even do that? Maybe I can't. So I guess I'll leave instant. I want to get rid of sorcery, artifact, creature for sure. And then I can't get rid of instant, so I might as well just leave both Thought Scours and kind of put some pressure on his Scavenging Ooze regarding that thing, regarding keeping up with Snapcaster. So yeah, Gurmag Angler was a great draw, making all of his Tarmogoyfs way smaller in addition to putting a 5/5 blocker into play that he doesn't have an answer for. So now I feel very optimistic. So he has to draw a land not to just lose on the spot. And even if he draws a land, I'm likely in a very good slot. Like, because then even if he has all 4 Lingering Souls tokens, I just attack with all of them. Like, I guess then he has to like basically quadruple block one of my Delvers, which obviously puts me in a great spot. So now he gets to take Electrolyze, which is a little lame. Still okay. He's still gonna go to 3 life. And my opponent wants to attack with everything? Isn't he just dead? I'm going to block one with an Angler. I'm going to chump block with these 2. And then I will attack with all of my creatures. Okay, I guess. Alright, so I'll start by thought scouting myself and see what happens. Yeah, so I guess if he double chump blocks, then he could potentially live. Yeah, so now he has to double chump block, and I don't think he can win anymore. But I guess we'll see. Yeah, so now I'm just gonna get. Well, now his Tarmogoyfs are large from his own graveyard, so that's. No, I'm just gonna get rid of instant. Yeah. And his last card in hand is a Scavenge Use. So now I have 2 blockers. He has for his 2 attackers and way beyond lethal in play. It's pretty hard to imagine how he wins this game. And he does not. Alright, cool. I don't know. I think my opponent could have very easily won those games. If he just plays Tarmogoyf on turn 2. I think not playing Tarmogoyf is understandable because it's such a good card and getting it bolted is so bad. But like not even playing the Scavenge Use. Like when was that not going to be able? When was he going to be able to protect that from bolt? Like yeah, so. And like I even like boarded a bolt out obviously, but though my opponent obviously didn't know that, and it's not a card you usually board out. Yeah, so I guess like if you want to learn something in this game, it's that you can't play around everything. You have to pick cards to play into, and you're going to lose. You lose way more games of trying to play around everything than trying to probably even trying to play around nothing. Like and ideally you need to like pick things to play into, and you need to actually make hedges. You can't try to have everything at once. But yeah, so I'll be back with round 2.